today's episode, I'm going to be here with special guest John Swan, owner of Repjc Clothing, the #1 Christian clothing line in Arizona. So this is John, and he's also the source of the gray hairs in my head and tortured me as a child, my brother. So thank you for coming today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So I know a lot about you, but I really want people to know about you because you inspire me. Besides annoying me, you inspire me. So what was your childhood like?
Man, childhood, man. We had a great childhood, man. We grew up on the north side of Milwaukee.
The hood.
The hood, boy.
A lot of people wouldn't know that though, that we grew up in a rougher neighborhood and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So we thank God for His protection. We're here today still, so that's good. But childhood was great, man. You know, our parents kind of tell us a little differently. You know, we thought, childhood was great, but my parents, as they tell us now, is like we could barely do groceries. You know? But we had a great childhood, man. So loving family. We always been real family oriented, as you know. So childhood was great, man. My parents always really supported me in everything I did.
Yeah. They really do. We have some good parents.
Yeah.
I feel like we're blessed because we've had parents that are Christians and believers, so they've taught us a lot about just spreading the word and loving God and all that stuff. So you have Repjc Clothing, your Christian clothing line. Do you feel like how you were brought up influenced that, your beliefs and your religion? Do you think that was a part of it, or what made you start Repjc Clothing?
Most definitely, and I think that actually a big factor. It actually goes back to our great grandmother.
Big Mama. Rest in peace, Big Mama. We love you.
Yeah. So it actually goes back to that, man. Generation, grandma, and then both sides, dad's mom and his great grandmother. So it's been definitely has had a huge take on my view in Christianity and my relationship with God. I'm actually thankful for that too. That they introduced me at a young age.
Yeah.
I think it saved me from a lot of stuff that I probably would experience because of that early. So very thankful, and that has been a key factor for Repjc.
I think you inspired me. Don't get your head too big, but you have so much creativity. Like I feel like I get a lot of it from you, like style and all that stuff. And you've always loved fashion. Like I remember in high school growing up, you used to sell screen print shirts. You put pictures of Michael Jordan dunking, and you were always coming up with these different creations. I remember you did the beaded necklaces that you would sell at school, and everybody's like, John Swan has the beaded necklaces and all this stuff. But you've always really been innovative and creative and stuff like that. So you could really have any kind of brand. There's so many brands out there. There's Beaushock, there's Obey Clothing, there's so many brands that are doing really good and that are cool. Having a Christian clothing line may seem not cool, so was that hard, having a Christian clothing line, coming up with that? What made you want to do that and be confident to do that?
Yeah, so the whole reason why I really started Repjc, just in the Christian clothing line, just because, man, I've been a believer my whole life. We've been since we were born. You know that.
Dad used to wake us up on Saturdays to read the Bible, all that.
No.
Yeah,
so but as going to school, elementary school, middle school, and high school, it wasn't necessarily the coolest thing to talk about church at school or talk about Jesus or God. It's kind of weird. As soon as you mention Jesus, it's
yeah.
It's red flag goes up, man. So I just thought, I kind of want to change the perspective on going to church or being a believer. A lot of times I feel like people think that you have to give up, you have to change your life completely, or you have to give up a lot of things just to come to God. And God is I'll take you as you are.
Come as you are, yeah.
So the whole thing, inspiration behind Repjc, I wanted to create opportunities for kids, to really spread their faith, but in a dope way that it's not weird to mention God, or I had a shirt God Keeps 100. So I thought if I create dope and relevant stuff, that'll give kids the opportunity at even younger ages to be able to share their faith, and not perceived as weird or it's so that's the whole inspiration really about Repjc. And there was also brands that like that Kanye or different people would wear that I, as like a man of God, I couldn't really associate with that because of like maybe the profanity or whatever was on the shirt, or you know, I couldn't wear it because you know my beliefs. So I thought like, man, why not create something?
Let me just start our own fashion line that I can wear.
You know what I mean? Like create something dope that's relevant to God that like, you know, as like a, not to compare myself, but like a Ralph, or you know, when you step in there, you got some fresh shades on, yeah, like you like, yeah, boy, like this is official. It's official, you know what I mean? So like, that's the whole inspiration behind Repjc, man. We're really just trying to spread God's word to the masses in a dope way. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. So you have a new line out, and what I love about Repjc is because it's like swag. It's not just like a t-shirt that says something. Like you come up with creative sayings like blessed without sneezing, or just something that's funny, and it makes people wonder, oh, that's a fresh shirt, you know?
Yeah.
And it's stuff that has style. So you have a new line out, King's Kid, that is fresh. Like I'm not gonna say that, but it's so fresh. You know, you have zippers now. You have the extended T-shirts that are really cool, the long T-shirts and words on the back. So, what inspired you to do a new collection, King's Kid?
Man, you know what? I just, you know, I also like to do like research on other brands, you know, like Stussy and just other, you know, dope brands that people right now are feeling, you know, that have been along. Not new, not necessarily new on the scene, but I've been there. Where you know, Stussy was where mom and dad, you know, were kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so maybe when that kind of, so I've just been like doing my research and history. Like, you were saying like how you were saying
extended T-shirts.
Extended T-shirts. What made you want to do it? Okay, so I just wanted the whole idea, like for King's Kid, man. I wanted to connect more with people, and I felt like you know I usually would just drop, as a guy gave me a new design, I would drop something, you know, I would just like feel like I need to constantly be dropping, you know, different designs. But I was like, dang, like I felt like a disconnect kind of from some of the customers, you know, so I wanted to give them more this time.
A variety.
A variety, and like not so much a variety, but just a collection. So I wanted all the designs to match one thing that, you know, one word or, you know, one message that I was trying to get. So that's really what I'm going to do. Like from here out, I just plan to drop more collections, and you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? I feel like you're somebody a lot of people can look up to because you've never been ashamed about your faith, you know, or who you are. You know, people are like, oh, John loves God. You know, and I wish that more kids could see who you are and they could watch this because they could see that it's okay to love God. You know, people who love God are just as cool, you know, and they could do amazing things as well, you know. Like, I want more kids not to be ashamed of loving God, Christ, going to church. Like, I want them to see that it could be cool, too. So, I just always thought that was cool, and I feel like we all have that, like, in our family. Like, we're unashamed, we'll post about it, and also what I like about us, though, is we still know how to have fun and a good time and be cool with normal people, you know, like we're not weird or anything, you know, we still like to go to the movies, we like to hang out, do stuff, we just love God, and that's okay.
You know, when I think about that, I think that all comes down to just being completely transparent.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I love to, I mean, I know people around me know that I go to church, I'm unashamed. You know, but I also tell them like, hey man, like I'm not perfect. I got problems. You know what I mean? Like God is working me through this stuff. But you know, I think is an important key to always be transparent, no matter where you're at. You know, especially when you know you're trying to reach certain people. Like if you're always beating them over the head about something they got going on, how are they gonna draw closer? Like you're always, you know what I mean? So like I think that's key. Like if I had any advice, like. For somebody, just be completely transparent, man. Yeah,
for sure. So, what is your take? I know being a Christian, a young man of God, and there's a lot of challenges in this world, you know. What is your take on dating? Like, what advice do you have for younger boys as far as dating? Should they rush into it or take their time? What's some tips or advice you have to give on that as far as dating?
Ooh, boy. Dating, man, what I would say, I would say definitely get to know that person, man.
Yeah.
Definitely get the word. I have a girlfriend right now, and
what? You got a
girlfriend?
girlfriend?
I do.
We love Kara.
Yeah,
she's
man,
awesome.
she's
Girl.
a sweetheart. So I mean, but she was she was like my best friend. I was a girl for 5 years.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Prior, so I would say I would get to know that person, man. Don't necessarily get rushed. Get to know their family.
Yeah.
As well, how they interact with different groups, or different people.
Yeah.
That's why be very observant.
Yeah, be observant. Yeah. So, as a business owner and having a girlfriend, is that ever hard to balance, do you think? How does that work? I know it can't be that easy.
Well, I think it's, honestly, I think it's more stressful on me than it is on her.
Yeah.
Because she's been there, like, when I was, barely getting started with all the t-shirts we had to fold individually. Yeah. She's been there. I think it's more hard on me because, like, I want to, please her. I want her to be good. I don't want, we're folding shirts and spending so much time on Repjc that, I want to be able to take her out, go to the movies, do things. So, but she's always been really super supportive and in my dream, yeah. So.
And that says a lot about her, to be someone who understands your vision and who's patient with you too. So as far as dating, it's probably good to find someone who understands you and your vision as well as a business owner, somebody who could support you too. Because if not, that could hold you back a little bit. So
yeah, absolutely. Because there's some days, like, it's not always all good all the time. Some days where I have rough days that, like, man, I get overwhelmed. Maybe like the orders or all the stuff that I got going on. It's like, but she's there to pick me back up. You know what I mean? So it's awesome, and vice versa. We just kind of came to an agreement that even like vice versa as me supporting her and her supporting me. We just came to understand, like, it's time to go get it for God right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we gotta go get it, put God first, and we gotta go get it for Him right now. And then, we'll be able to enjoy those things later on. But right now, it's time for us to focus on Him and what He has planned for us.
Yeah, for sure. So I know Repjc is your vision, your dream in life. Did you ever have a plan A, something that you wanted to do before you got into fashion and designing? Did you have something that you were into before that?
Oh yeah, let me get some coffee first before I go in there. Dang, this coffee's fire. Woo! Coffee with Tara. What? Better than Starbucks.
It's the best.
Man. Okay, yeah, man. I had big dreams, man, big dreams of going to the NBA.
A young Kobe.
Yeah, for real, man. I had big dreams. Nobody couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to the league. You know what I mean? All the work, and I got another story to tell because of that. But yeah, man, I grew up my whole life. My first love was basketball, man. I've been playing since they could put a ball in my hand. You know what I mean? Like, and then this is a funny story. Like, about I think maybe because of the way how high I used to be able to jump and dunk and stuff was probably because my dad used to put ankle weights on me when I was a baby. My dad put ankle weights on me.
What parent puts ankle weights on a child? Dad is so funny.
That's where the bounce came from. You know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, man, I had high hopes of going to the NBA, man. It's crazy how it changed, but yeah, I played middle school, played high school, played varsity my freshman year.
We all thought you were gonna end up like everybody knew John Swan as the hooper.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna go to the NBA. Like some people that meet you now would have never have known that, but that was your vision for most of your life. We'll say like 20 years, 22 years. You were playing basketball in college, and then what happened?
But and then high school I played varsity. Then after that, I get a scholarship to go to Phoenix College. After Phoenix College, to Colorado Northwestern, and it's just so weird how I blame my parents for this. But my bones, like so, man, you talk about injuries, man, ankle, my knees. So
God, I pray against bad knees and bad joints.
It's crazy. No, it's not my parents' fault, but just like I was just really injury prone sometimes. In college, I tore this knee in high school, my senior year, and I tore this one at Colorado Northwestern, tore this knee, and then had a great surgery in Arizona in high school, and then Colorado was like, we're in the middle of nowhere. So I had to do therapy at a hospital, which is not probably the best for an athlete. You probably need to go to a sports facility to get the proper rehab. So at that point, man, my life just changed. You know, I was at a point in my life where we had some family stuff that was going on that just was really crazy and just going through a lot. And I just...
It was like a dark place for you.
Yeah, dark place for me. I really didn't know what I was going to do without basketball because I have been training since I was little. You know, so it was just a really weird period in my life, man, that I was going through kind of like... Because I've always been known as I play basketball, you know.
It was your identity at the time.
It's my identity, you know, so now I'm like, what the heck am I about to do? Like, God, this was my identity. This is how people, you know me as I was going to the league, you know.
And that's the scary thing about life, though, is because we never know what can happen. We have a plan, you know, they say when you tell God your plans, he laughs, but that's like really how it is. Like you have this plan and then one thing can happen and it's over, so.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just, but then like now as I think about it, it all makes sense now. Like, you know, if somebody told me like that I was going to the league, or if I would tell you I was going to the league, I knew every single thing that I needed to do to prepare myself for that.
Wow.
You know, so like I know that I had to be in the gym 5 hours a day. I had to, you know, dribble my left hand. I had to do right hand. I knew exactly the formula that I believed to be able to get me to the league. I got to be in the gym. You know what I mean?
It was in your control.
Yeah, it was all in my control. I knew the steps that I needed to take. So it's so funny now that, you know, when I'm doing Repjc now, back then, like, I didn't rely so much on God. I'm like, God, you know, lead me to where I need to be at. You know, I would just go lift weights. I would go work on my jumper. You know what I mean? God was kind of out of it. So now, like, Repjc, it's so funny because, like, I have to completely rely on it because I'm in a field where I'm not
expensive
and just familiar with. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So like it's so crazy now. Like I'm just it's.
I feel like everything that you've gone through, like God had a plan at the end of the day. Like He knew Repjc was gonna be something big and something that He wanted you to do. You know, and it seemed like a setback, you know, as far as you getting injured, but it was really bringing you into your destiny, you know, and something that you love to do and you're passionate about, and something, I mean, you've always liked fashion, but you kind of really never knew how big it could be having your own line, you know, and it's like you have a new identity.
Yeah, God He lines it up. It's crazy, man. I was just thinking about today, like, how, like, you know, we just had the King's Kid collection, right? And
your launch party.
The launch party, and it was so blessed. All the foolishness that happened, you know,
so
cancellations, you know, the shirts had gone bad. We had to redo the shirts. The photo shoot went bad, you know. It seems like every single time that something big is about to come up, the enemy tries to go after you, so to steal your joy, you know. But it was so blessed. It's crazy how, you know, I couldn't even like answer people back. I was such in awe just from the event, how God can give you a vision. Like, you know, it all started from a trace. You know, I would trace it out, you know, and then take it to the graphic designer. The graphic designer, he knocks it out, you know, and
so
the next, into the next, you know, and then it gets printed on the T-shirt, you know, and then to show up to the show with the product and the vision that God gave me and see people really rock with it, really like it, they want to get it, man. It's just, it's no greater feeling, man. I'm so thankful, man. It was such a great event, man.
And I was so proud to see your vision come to light, because a lot of people see the show, but they don't know all the hard work that you put into it. They don't know all the different things you're doing, and it takes a lot of work, like mentally, physically, all those things. So when I see it come together, it just makes me excited, and it shows that hard work, you know, it pays off. And it shows your faith. You put in faith, even just making one shirt, every step of the way you have faith in your vision. Even when there's setbacks, you still have faith. I'm still doing this launch. I'm still doing this shoot, because we could have canceled the photo shoot. You could have canceled a lot of things, but you kept going through with it because you had faith in God that He was going to get glory out of this, that it was going to be awesome. So I think it's awesome that you have faith too in God.
Thanks so much, man. We're King's kids, man. They
King's
can't stop
kids,
us,
you already
man.
know.
Can't stop us, man.
Yeah. So what is something that most people don't know about you?
Well,
because people know a lot about, you're in fashion, all this stuff. They don't know that you drive me crazy sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. But what's something that people don't necessarily know about you?
Well, something. This is perfect. Well, to tell you the truth, guys, I was the first Obama. I was the first Obama.
Lies.
I was actually, I was school president, 5th and 6th grade. I think people don't really know that about me. Yeah, I was actually.
At Zuni Elementary.
Two terms, Zuni Elementary, man. 5th and 6th grade, I was actually a president of the school.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
It was so annoying in elementary because I was like, oh, you're the president's daughter. I mean, you're the president's sister. I'm like, I have a name. Thank you. It was so annoying. So annoying. Yeah. So in life, when you leave this earth, what do you want people to remember about John Swan?
Man, I want people to remember. I want people to remember.
It's a deep question,
I know it is.
What legacy do you want to leave behind? When people say John Swan, what do you want them to remember or say about you?
I want people to remember that I was a man after God's heart.
Say it again?
A man after God's heart, man. I want people to remember. I want people to see God.
Wow, that's deep. Yeah.
Not that I'm a God, but to see the characteristics of God, and His goodness.
Yeah.
So that's one major thing that I do, man. I always, it's not about me. When I think about, my legacy, that I want it to be giving God the glory, in everything that I do.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of careful to what I do, as of now, man, because that's my legacy, that I do want that to be the main factor, that I was a man after God's heart, man. So.
Amen. That is so good. What do you think that you want people to know about your brand that they may not know now? If they're like, oh, what's Repjc clothing? What's something you want them to know about it?
Man, I would just, I can go back to just the stereotypes of, being a believer and how it's weird or it's whack. Yeah. I want them to know that it's dope. I think it's dope to go to church, man. It's cool. I'm not being held back. I'm actually giving more.
Yeah.
From going to church, man. I wanted people to be excited.
Yeah.
About the things of God, and wearing the clothes to be expressive of that.
Yeah. Because your shirts really are a conversation starter.
Yeah.
I was wearing the Relax and Trust God shirt or something, and somebody's like, oh, that's cool, Relax and Trust God, and they want to know about it. I'm like, well, I wear this because it reminds me, even when I'm going through things and things are not in my control, I need to relax. God's got this, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or if I wear, when we were in Flagstaff for your event, a lot of people were like blessed without sneezing. They really liked it. It's people from all different cultures and stuff. They're like, oh, blessed without sneezing. That's funny. And it's like, what does that mean? It just means I'm blessed. No matter what I do, where I am, I'm blessed. And I'm a child of God. I'm a King's kid. I'm blessed. So I like that you have catchy phrases and sayings, stuff that's cool and that makes people question.
Right,
what does that mean? So.
Right, that's what I try to do. I want people to know it's not having a relationship with God is not all technical.
It's simple, yeah.
I gotta go in the secret room and pray and get on my knees and
put some holy water in my face.
Man, it's just a simple relationship, that I have with my sister that she continually build, man. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could be a simple conversation like, God, what's happening? What's up, God? What's up?
Yeah.
How what should I do here? Or it's not all spiritual and just weird and all that. So man, that's one of the type of things that I'm trying to remove too, man. It's, I don't know, the perception sometimes, and some of the stuff is actually true sometimes. But how I like to tell people is that there might be weird people in the church or people doing off type of things, but that's in everything. crazy teachers, you have crazy people at work.
But it doesn't make all teachers bad.
Yeah, it doesn't make,
yeah,
you know what I mean? There's people that do wrong and everything, but to just have that relationship, your individual relationship with God, so you see, not everything else that comes with it, man. So
sure, yeah. So Repjc, where do you want to see it in the future? I know you have a vision. Do you want to expand? What's your next step?
Man, and that's another thing, just having complete faith in God. To be honest, it's easy for me to tell you where I want to be at, but I don't necessarily know how I'm about to get there yet. You know?
Yeah.
So I just have faith in God, man. Just how, like, when we had our first release party, a certain amount of people came, or, this time I necessarily don't know the next step. That's the next step, so I'm just relying on God to open those doors and have those divine connections for me to meet the right people that will take it to where I want it to go.
Yeah, so faith, that's a big factor.
Yeah, well, most definitely. This, man, it's like, it's so crazy because, I don't want to say I put a lot into Repjc. Sometimes I've spent everything I had,
you don't be sleeping sometimes.
Yeah, literally, man, but that's what keeps me going, man. Faith in God, that I know that my Heavenly Father's going to take care of it at the end of the day, that it's going to be done. I might not know the direction or the next way to go, but I know at the end of the day, it's going to get done.
Amen. Know what I mean? Yeah. So now what we're going to do is our 30-second questionnaire.
Drum roll.
So, I'm going to set a timer, and you're going to answer these questions the best that you can.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
All righty? And honestly. Okay. Let me get my timer going.
Oh, man. What if I don't know the answer? Next, I'll say the answer.
Then you're leaving right now.
Oh, Lord,
you're
have
never
mercy.
coming back. Okay.
Let's go. This is so crazy.
Okay. Who pays on the first date?
Me.
The man?
The man.
Is Netflix and chill okay? Yes or no?
In the daytime. Temptation,
Nah,
man.
after 6 p.m. Name of your first girlfriend?
Jill.
Jill?
Yeah, Jill was her name. Yeah.
No, it's not. Favorite food?
Burgers.
I thought you were going to say gummy worms. Okay. How old are you?
26. I'm getting old.
You are? Oh my gosh. What's my birthday?
April 29th.
It's the 26th.
No, it's not.
Alright. What's a deal breaker as far as dating?
Ooh. Deal breaker. No passion.
Ooh,
Yeah, no drive. Yeah, I can't deal with that. Yeah, they gotta be hungry for something, going in some direction.
Alrighty, your time's up.
Alright.
Good job.
Hey, John Swan.
Thank you so much for coming today, brother.
Yeah,
I
thanks for
appreciate you
having
stopping
me,
by in your busy schedule. And I hope you guys enjoyed this segment of Coffee with Tara. Check out repjcclothing.com as well.
Hey, King's Kids.
King's Kids. Bye.
Bye.